Thank you very much, viewers and listeners. Welcome to the Dela Cream Show, a youth-centric show that focuses on politics that are making rounds around the country. So this evening, the 12th of January 2025, we are going to have a few things that we are going to pay attention to that are making rounds. We are going to talk about the issue of digital number plates. We're going to talk about the KCCA boss that sworn in on the 8th of January 2025. We're going to talk about the continued detention of Dr. Kiza Kifefe Besigye and the loss of Muhammad Ssegirinya, the fallen soldier in the Nup camp. So together with me to discuss that is a political analyst and human rights activist. Welcome to the show, Jonathan Ogola.
Thank you so much.
So we are going to have time to discuss some of the key things that are making rounds on social media this week. In a few minutes, I'll have to give you 1 or 2 minutes to make your opening remarks.
Well, thank you so much to our listeners and viewers wherever you are. Good evening. In Uganda, it's already evening. To some other parts of the world, some are in the afternoon and others are even at night. I'm Jonathan Ogola, a political analyst, as he said, and a human rights activist. The show will be very enjoyable and interesting. Just tune in and follow up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. With interest of time, we are going to start on our very first topic. Uganda, through the Ministry of Transport and Roads, rolled out the third phase of the digital number plates, ITMS, Intelligent Transport Monitoring System. The third phase, first phase, just to go back into time, first phase, 1st of January, 1st of November 2023, we had the first phase, which was an issuance to government motor vehicles, and the second phase came on the 1st of November 2024, which was an issuance to motorcycles, and the third phase rolled out on the 6th of January 2025, which was early this week, and they will be starting on Monday, which is tomorrow. And the issuance of cars entering Uganda through Mombasa and motorcycles that will be entering through Mutukula. So Jonathan, how is this going to help to curb the issue of insecurity in the country?
First of all, what is the primary motive for whatever they are implementing? Because we need to first understand what is the purpose. And for the 2 phases that has been in existence, what has it achieved? Before we may come to whether see where the relevance of it or not. Because ideally, if this has been a third phase that is being launched, and we have not seen any accountability and achievements for the other 2 phases, then it may not have value and it may not have much importance in this digital number plates. Because I remember this digital number plates, the first time they came into existence, where in fact they have been coming up in terms of when in events whereby I've been having things like when the insecurity, major insecurity, and most cases it happened when they killed the former deputy IGP, that was Andrew Felix Kawese. Then after they brought it in Kirumira, and those murders that have been existing, and they thought it would be, but ideally it has not solved anything. And I think this time round, most cases this thing, it will be hard for implementation.
Okay.
And hard
just for the record, one of the objectives, a few of the objectives that the spokesperson of the Ministry of Works and Transport, Susan Kataike, talked about is to boost the tax base, to curb the fake number plates that have been happening, that have been issued, to track crime would be one of the key reasons why this is happening, and also to reduce or help people know the source of crime, because this will be a number plate that can easily be tracked. So those are some of the few objectives that it will be.
The second phase, when was it launched?
The second phase was launched on the 1st of November 2024.
2024.
Yes.
And this 2025.
This is 2025.
The first phase, I think it was either in 2022 or
2023, 1st of November.
And all those years we have seen insecurity and people have been attacked. For example, we had Ichuli was attacked and killed by the gunmen. We have so many people. We had even a scenario whereby Pastor Bujingo, his driver or security officer or something of the kind also was attacked. And if that was the basis of this digital, we have never had any report coming from police giving us a reliable report about that. So I don't see.
I have the reason for that. All the two people you have talked about, Pastor Bujingo and who is the other one again?
Ichuli.
And Ichuli. The first phase of number plates was issued to government motor vehicles, and the second one was issued to motorcycles, of which none of those people in the scene of crime was a government official or using a motorcycle. Don't you think that gives them
so are they introducing it to the government officials or to the general public?
The first phase, it is a phase that is being rolled out slowly. The first phase was to the vehicles that are for government officials. Then the second one went to motorcycles. The third phase that will start to operate on Monday will be issued out to cars that come through Uganda. Then motorcycles also that come through Uganda. And the entry points would be, for motorcycles, it will be Mutukula and Malaba, and the vehicles will be through Mombasa and Dar es Salaam. So maybe this will begin helping the general public. Maybe let's give them a benefit of doubt.
Even if without a benefit of doubt, I don't see any, because majorly here most of the things are always done without even benchmarking it, and most of them have been existing without any background that will help the common person. So ideally, there's nothing much we expect from such, and just that we are going to electioneering period, it will maybe help them to track and do politics, but I don't see. Insecurity will continue existing here, whether with or without, and we shall never have any reliable source or any reliable report to combat that. So I don't see. Okay. I don't see any.
Thank you, Jonathan. Every Ugandan is absolutely entitled to their opinion, but our show, having one of its values to be informative, we have the value that benchmarks on informing the general public, our viewers and listeners. So just for the record, government aims to phase out the old number plates in 2 years, and the cost of swapping will be 150 to motor vehicles and 50,000 to motorcycles, exchanging the old plates. The cost of the new will go to 700 and 14,300. How many Ugandans are capable of doing this?
Practically, the government is doing well in terms of fighting the motorcycle industry, and eventually it will be like these other sectors. By the motorcycle in the sector or industry, it had grown so fast and it had contributed a lot to this economy, and it had simplified the transportation system in Uganda. But for the past years, they realized that these motorcycle riders and the group, most cases I think that it has been politicized, and at the end of the day, we shall find most of them going back to the village because of the restrictions that have been existing ever since this industry was boosted. Because we realize that every insecurity that is happening, those who are doing it, in most cases, they always use motorcycles just to tarnish the image of those who are in the industry. Secondly, given the fact that most of these colleagues who are in this industry, most of them are against the government, and it is factual. For the years ago, these people have been supporting Kizza Besigye fully. Currently, they are supporting Bogwe. So to put them down and make them economically down, it is to restrict the industry and put all possible ways they can put them down. And that's why we are coming up with a degree, because even the affordability of this system is very hard. Most of these boys are just struggling to earn a living. And now when you put such an amount to access that, most of them will give up and go back to the village. But ideally, there's nothing beneficial to the nation.
My friend Jonathan Ogola, I would beg to differ a little bit, because if you say government is fighting this, I statistically observe a growth in the number of motor vehicles and motorcycles. Because if you are to go back in time, the time NRM came into power, there should have been fewer motorcycles and motor vehicles compared to now, where the statistical data puts motor vehicles to about 2.4 million cars.
That's the same thing I say.
Believe me?
That's the same thing I say. That when this, I think motorcycles came here in 1997, around there, and they became very popular, and the industry grew up faster from around 2006 up to date. That's why the industry has been, it has grown up, and it has contributed a lot to this economy. But the major thing is, you would say, for the time, in fact, they came with this government, and one would say, if at all the government doesn't fight them, why did they exist in this government? But ideally, according to what is on the ground currently, these people have been against the government according to the working conditions that have been working in, poor roads and so on, and most of them have been going contrary to what the government expects, or in terms of opposing it. So putting restrictions and so on, and in most cases there's nothing that has been brought in here when it is not political. Most of these things are always brought in not to benefit the common person, but instead to continue pushing the common person to the world. So I don't see, and we shall come here after 1 year and we shall not find any result from these digital things.
Okay.
So,
Jonathan, thank you for that. With interest of time, we are going to shift to our next topic of the day, that we are going to focus on the matters concerning Kampala Capital City Authority. On the 8th of January 2025, KCCA boss took her vows to take over office. We all had the issue that happened in KCCA, especially to do with the waste management in the city. We saw about 35 people that were declared dead, and so many dozens of others that were displaced. So we came and saw the appointing authority have a reshuffle in the leadership of KCCA, where Dorothy Chisaka, who was the KCC boss then, David Luyambuzi, her deputy, and engineer Frank Rusa, who has been the outgoing acting KCCA, reshuffled. So, Jonathan, do you see a lifeline for KCCA with the change of leadership?
well, it is another opportunity for those who have come on board to get employed. And the other thing, it is also another opportunity for the appointing authority to play his cards, because we are now months to a general election. So the thing is very strategic, but I don't see any impact apart from doing politics, because what I know, like from the other predecessors to this lady who have come in, most cases they have brought her with a package of things he has to do, and what of which it will only benefit the appointing authority. So as we wait to give her the benefit of doubt, I even don't expect much apart from playing politics that will benefit appointing authority.
Okay, we saw in that situation, Mayor Arias Lukwago had a concern with the KCCA bosses that have been there, and his concern was the KCCA bosses rub shoulders with the city tycoons, who in most cases infringe on the rights of the people in the city, disadvantaging them and making them vulnerable because of maybe the continued business, and then the KCCA bosses have nothing to do because of their economic muscle. What do you think the new leadership should do different to make sure it does not reoccur like the predecessor?
Well, predicting what the new leadership is going to do is hard, because most cases, these people, constitutionally, we know what the executive director, the KCCA, is supposed to do, but it's always contrary to what the appointing authority wants. So it will affect the daily performance of the whole, or the daily running of the city vis-a-vis what the appointing authority wants. So ideally, it would be the executive director always is like a cow at a local government. Then the road mayor is always like the LOC fight. But here, most cases, this position was created to fight the road mayorship. And in fact, currently in Uganda, the road mayor is a ceremonial. The executive director does all the road work and the political, he even plays the political role. So if this lady is very ambitious, the way Jennifer Musisi was, they are going to rub shoulders with Lukwago and they are going to end very far. Whether Lukwago or any other person will come to power, those positions will always not come together, because she was brought to fight the Lord Mayor. And even if I to quote General Museveni openly say, the current Lord Mayor or the Lord Mayor is ceremonial. That's why even any of them gave up with bringing a Lord Mayor from their party. They know it's ceremonial. They have captured them with the executive director plus the ministers. So we have to face a serious battle between the current or any other Lord Mayor that will come in plus the executive director. Not until these people come to know who does what and who does at what time. Otherwise, the appointing director, according to his calculations, he has brought her to fight or to enable him achieve his own objectives.
So when you talk about Jennifer Musisi, the former executive director of KCCA, she declared her resignation on the 15th of October 2018, of which December 12, 2018, she was approved out of office. When such things happen, at the point where Jennifer Musisi is sitting, when she looks on, what do you think comes to her mind?
It is a lesson to her, and what I know she had, because she was used to play all the data she played, and at the end of the day, she was dumped. So what I know after that period of time, because she was a very committed lady and a committed leader who was fighting to achieve what she was supposed to do. And I remember by then they had that was the game that had serious battle between the Lord Mayor and the executive director and Jennifer in particular. In fact, we have never had an executive director who was very ambitious, very tough to the level of Jennifer Musisi.
Don't you think the people of KCCA miss the services of Jennifer Musisi?
She was not tough in terms of services, but in her way of operation, because you realize that, in fact, she was the only person who came and fit in what the appointing director wanted. And in that process, she was fighting harder. At the same time, those who were against her more, so the council, being led by the Lord Mayor had to fight back. And from that day when she left, they made the position to be more ceremonial, even when they had changed her. But she was used properly. She did exactly right with the appointing authority wanted, and at the end of the day, she was dumped. Because I remember when they were dumping her, General Museveni walked with her in the entire city, asking the population their problems, and everyone was crying that Jennifer Musisi is a problem. She has been torturing us. She has pushed our members, our relatives, our friends into prison because of hawking, because of unfair way where people were struggling to earn a living. She was very tough. Even borders, the motorcycle industry got affected in that regime of Jennifer Musisi. And at the end of the day, when the appointing authority moved with her to the public to find out why the issue was, everyone was against her, and eventually she was dropped. But whatever she was doing, it was only benefiting the appointing authority. So that's how she ended up.
Thank you, Jonathan. So we are only going to hope and wish for the very best of the tenure for the new leadership of KCCA. We are going to have time and discuss the continued detention of Dr. Kiza Kifefe Besigye and whatever drama that transpired in the General Court Martial. Jonathan, this should have come to your mind that Aaron Kiza Besigye, one of Dr. Kiza Besigye's lawyers, in the General Court Martial in Makindye, was issued a 9-month jail term for contempt of court, banging tables. After several warnings that he did not heed the advice, the court martial chairperson, Brigadier Freeman Robert Mugari, read a ruling that he was not allowed to defend himself, nor were his charges laid to him, and there's no time for mitigation. Though Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago and Frederick Paga tried to appeal, but it was all in vain. Based on history, there have been people in the court martial that have been stifled in that way. What does this mean for Dr. Kiza Besigye's legal team?
Not only the legal team, but the entire country. This is what we call a state being under capture. Whatever is being done in the court martial, it is legal. And that's why you find people who call themselves to be lawyers, they are doing things on that way. And first of all, the committee of people in that court martial, they're even not lawyers. In fact, court martial is just a tribunal that's supposed to handle the issues to do with the military. When you look at in the constitution under the military act, it gives them authority only to the military officers in terms of disciplining them simply. But here comes a situation whereby even civilians have been taken to the court martial, something that is existing out of the law. There's even a court ruling that was made in the Supreme Council, Supreme Court, and it was officially declared an unlawful thing that is existing. But it is very unfortunate that you have civilians that have been going through, and currently, because Dr. Kiza Besigye is not a lawyer, he's a retired military officer. In fact, currently he's a civilian, but he's being tried that way. The same thing to Aaron Kiza. So whatever is being done there is illegal, being done by the illegal people. So it is very hard, and that's why Ugandans have to fight a lot to end that and end the current regime. Otherwise, it will continue existing. They will continue taking people through there, and in most cases, whenever you're under that tribunal, even the way you articulate things annoys those soldiers, and they can even kill you. So the impunity and the injustice that happens in that court martial is extreme. It's extreme. I remember for the first time Lukwago was convicted and he was arrested. Even in that very court martial, was arrested and taken in for hours just because of telling the lawyers that they had come to fight for their people. But I think by then it was early to many. I think the way Lukwago was talking with a lot of energy, he thought it was undermining them. So they had to take him. The same thing to Aaron Kiza. Aaron Kiza, when he came, he was among the few lawyers who were supposed to come, who came ready to go and defend their. In fact, there were 5 lawyers. Martha Karua, they had Aaron Kiza, they had Elias Lukwago, and some, I think in Alukola, with some other lawyer, there were 5 who were supposed to come and sit. In fact, in the court, there's where the judges sit, and there's where the lead counsels also sit. And you can only do that. In fact, there's always a letter that determines where these people sit. So when this gentleman was heading to sit where he's supposed to sit, he was blocked. And when he was fighting for his rights to go to and sit, the military officers were very annoyed, and they ended up abducting him, they tortured him, and they convicted him to 9 months arrest in remand. So it's unfortunate.
So thank you, Jonathan. We are also going to speak about something positive about the legal team of Dr. Kizza Besigye. In the issues that made news last week, we still saw Martha Karua, who is one of the people in the legal team of Dr. Kizza Besigye, receive her practicing license after initially she had been denied because of some issues that they considered incomplete documentation, but she later received her practicing license. So this happens after some of the lawyers and the councils in Kenya had piled pressure, I think it was regional, piled pressure onto Uganda. So the Uganda Law Society came up through their president, Isaac Semakande, and their battle paid off. So did the pressure have an impact on the Uganda Law Council?
When you talk of pressure, then you don't deserve a credit. With a credit, why are you giving them a credit? Judiciary is an independent institution which has to operate independently. So when you're talking about pressure coming from other countries just because their colleague, their daughter has been denied access to the legal process or practicing law, any legal activity,
because you have knowledge
required
that we have Ugandans that are in Kenya that are freely practicing legal services in Kenya.
There's no credit that is required to be given to anywhere because he had the right. Like other Ugandans are doing anywhere in the world. It's all about requesting for it, you present the qualifications, and this person in fact is a known person. So issues to deal in Uganda, things that they are being done on orders. When the head of the state doesn't wish something to happen, it fails. So this institution, which is independent the way it's supposed to be, it goes on someone's orders and realize that a lawyer can even request for the license to operate. They first deny you for some time, then just because of what people are demonstrating, that's when you come to pardon such a person. Then we even wonder the country we are in. So if it was a local thing here that was not affecting other countries, the pressure would have piled and it would have ended here.
But then the Uganda Law Council had issues that they presented, reasons for not granting her practice license initially. One of the issues was non-compliance with the Amendment Advocate Act, Chapter 295, and also questioning her politically driven motives. So they had a reason to affiliate to, they had a reason as to why
the person they had arrested is a
practicing license.
First of all, the thing is so gender is a political activity going to, is a political business. The person they arrested, he was arrested on grounds of politics. Because according to them, they were saying that the gentleman was planning to overthrow the government. It's a political business that is being fought. So people who are in this issue, they're also politicians. Basing on the lawyers that were presented, most of them are politicians. So there's no, and even the activity that Dr. Kizza Besigye had gone for was a political activity. Book launch of a politician is majorly politics that's going to be playing. So there's no way you could convince me and confuse me that simply because this lady is a politician, there's no way. Because even when they had called any other person, these people are all politicians. This lady is a legal practitioner. So there's no way you could tell me that simply because she has been a politician, she doesn't deserve to practice law.
So sorry to interject, Jonathan. How is a matter of a book launch in another country? Martha Karua and Besigye are friends on personal terms. How is the matter of the book launch an issue that is politically motivated and an issue of concern for another country? It's a book launch, for God's sake.
Well, of course, that's what we are talking about. It was a book launch, and of course, an activity that happened where politicians are, You can't avoid politics. That's why I'm saying all the grounds that the law council was basing on, they were political. They denied her access to law practice in the law, based on political factors. So having compiled pressure on him, they had to give her the certificate, but just based on the political factors that were being played.
Thank you, Jonathan. We are going to go to our very last topic. With the interest of time, we are going to pay attention to a very emotional topic. You will notice that our mood will a little bit go down. I, for one, will want to first send my apologies to the people of the family of Muhammad Ssegirinya, the people of Kawempe North, to the Noob camp, and to the entire country. We have lost a very practical legislator, someone that is human, down to earth, full of life. I would really want to say inna lillahi wa inna lillahi rajiun. I really feel so emotional about talking about this topic, but Jonathan, you are going to join me to have something to say about the passing on of Muhammad Ssegirinya, who is the fallen soldier in the Noob camp.
Not in the Noob camp. Ssegirinya is a member of parliament. He doesn't represent NUP. Or he is not a member of parliament for NUP. NUP is not even a constituency. He is a member of parliament for Uganda. Because once, for the people of Kawempe, and when you enter the parliament, you're a member of parliament of the entire country.
Why do I say that? Let me clear the air.
It is not right.
Why do I say that? The fallen soldier had a political home, a political path that brought him to parliament.
Right.
Which one is it?
He is affiliated to the political party known as NUP.
Yes.
But NUP is a political party. He's a member of parliament of Uganda.
Which he has been affiliated to.
Member of parliament of Uganda under NUP ticket. So singling him out and making it a political party issue, which is not. I think we had gone wrong. He's a member of parliament. And in fact, he's one of the few members of parliament out of the 529 who have been very known to the country, based on his characters and based on his achievements and how he has been playing politics. So he has been a national figure, not only to the party, but to the nation and even to the region, because he has been, as I was going through the media, his death has sparked, or he has gone viral even to the international world. So he has been an icon to the politics of Uganda and to the activism of this country.
Being a political politician, he's one of those members of parliament that is praised for achieving his manifesto 6 months into his tenure as member of parliament.
Okay.
He was a man of
it depends on what you had in the manifesto. Of course, something to do with the manifesto you can't achieve in 1 day or in 1 month. If it was like that, the term would have been for 2 days. But I want to credit him. We have lost him. He has been an icon. He has, in fact, I can describe him in 3 things. He has been a true definition of a determined person, a person who doesn't give up, and a true hustler. Because according to how he has maneuvered from his birth to when he died at 37, he has been a very pivotal leader in all. In fact, wherever he started from, he has been a very strong leader, and he eventually went before seeing the new Uganda that we are agitating for. But we wish him well. We pray that the Almighty can grant him a best rest. Though he told us not to wish him a rest in peace, but to always tell him to fight, because what he was fighting for, what he was standing for, nothing has changed, and we are still fighting. So we pray that today he was buried amidst scuffles, battles between the different camps and the police and the military. but eventually he was buried.
We continue to bid farewell to the fallen member of parliament, a practical legislator. So, having a sense of belonging and attachment to the National Unity Platform, this has been one of the most vocal people and very practical. Where does this leave NUP? Does NUP have someone to front to consolidate that position? Kawempe North.
There are so many people who are there. There are so many who are there and who are capable of performing what he was doing and carrying forward. So since we have just finished the burial things, of course, everyone has been aiming and all minds have been how this gentleman could be laid to rest peacefully, and the emotional and so on. So people have been concentrating on taking him to rest. After that, the party will come up first of all, the electoral commission will come up and declare that position vacant through the parliament, and they will have to display roadmap, and eventually the party will come. There are so many people who are there, people will come and contest, and it will go back to the common person to select the best person to carry forward what Honorable Ssegirinya was trying to do.
Oh, thank you very much, Jonathan. There are so many contributions that the Honorable Muhammad Ssegirinya made to the people of Kawempe North and even beyond. So we continue to say, may his soul be judged with grace. So, Jonathan, give us your parting shots for the day.
Well, it has been a day full of emotion, and it has been not a good day at all, because of losing our soldier. We have a fallen soldier who was a true activist who have laid to rest, and it has been a darker day to the politics of Uganda, to the leadership of Uganda, and to those, to the change-seeking individuals in this country. So we have a lot that we have learned from him, and we have a lot that we hope we should do to ensure that whatever he was fighting for is achieved. I just want to wish him the best time with the Almighty as we continue fighting for a better environment and a better country that we wish to all stay in.
And from the team that is here with us, my colleague, thank you so much for everything that we have made time for. We continue being Dela Cream that brings you roundup of political events and news that are making rounds on the media within the country. So follow us, subscribe, give us a like, grow the family. Thank you very much. God bless you, and God bless Uganda.